back. Thank you for your patience. Tell you what, it isn't even retrograde, but it's been kind of acting like that. It happened. We're here. We're going to continue our conversation on the differences between therapy and coaching and why trauma informed coaching is so necessary and so meant for the times that we're in. We were saying before my Wi Fi had a tantrum that therapy has its place, that coaching has its and it's important. And what can be really supportive is when people are in a stabilized place. They know what they want. Thank you all for hopping back on. They understand that sometimes they are going to need, right, to do not integrated. Diana, hi, love. Thanks for hopping back on. And when we're looking to level our life, oftentimes that means being with a coach that's trained to help us move through our blocks, our stuck points, while being aware of our history, where our traps and hazards are, where edges are. Hi, Dan. Yes, being able to help us work through these things in a way that honors our nervous system, that honors our narratives, the things to ensure, like we've talked about this week, through the way in which we support someone in moving through their stuff, right? So often when we're working, we want safe and held and seen, and that's the truth for anyone that we're working with. And what can be challenging for coaches is to feel confident and being able to hold people through the transformation. In the beginning of my work as a therapist, I was so scared because I didn't want to trigger someone. I didn't want to cause someone more pain and more challenges and more through mentorship, through clinical supervision, to first of all understand that when someone commits to wanting to grow and change and heal, be triggered. So we're gonna have to work through growing edges. We all do. It's a part of it, right? It's like going to the ocean and wanting to get wet. If you go to the ocean without the intention to swim or to get in the water, chances are if you go to the ocean, there's a big probability that you're going to get wet at some point, right? Just because you're there. And so when we're working on healing and growing and really expanding, growing a business, growing a family, wanting to deepen our emotional intelligence, wanting to lose weight or have our soulmate relationship, right? Whenever we're trying to up level in our life in any way, we're gonna hit resistance and we're gonna hit areas where there may be tenderness because of past situations. Having a coach that can support you in that, in knowing when it's appropriate for them to work with you in a certain container, and also being able to support you in knowing, okay, this area is out of your window of tolerance. And so let's get you the right support, knowing that I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. And when you're ready, we can pick the work back up and do it in a safe way, do it in a responsible way, and do it in integrity. That is so important. Um, Luana had a question before we popped off, and I will try and see if she hops back on so she can ask her question. It's not showing up in the comments. Um, but there was a question, I think, around that. I would love to know where you're feeling more confident these days and where you're still not feeling as confident. I'd love to chat about that a little bit today. And um, Deanne says, I'm curious about how to create a container that incorporates this much needed body of work into my coaching practice while also operating within my scope as a practice as a holistic nurse coach and functional medicine coach. Yes, Deanne, that's amazing. I'm so glad you're here. This very well, I believe, could be the program for you because there's a real dance around holding that professional line when are a licensed professional and wanting to go into coaching, but there is a way to do it. There's a way to do it, and you can create containers that incorporate your body of work in a coaching practice, specifically around holistic nursing and functional medicine. There's a lot of practitioners because of what's happening currently in the medical industry in this post-pandemic world. People are burned out, people are overwhelmed, medical professionals are underpaid, they are not being treated with the respect that they deserve. And many of them are leaving the field not because they don't want to help people and not because they're giving up on medicine, right, and health outcomes, but because they don't want to work in a machine that doesn't value them and doesn't pay them for their time and their energy. So many people are going into independent practice. Many people are going into more health coaching. And many people are really figuring out how to create programs to help people with health and vitality and working through specific health things, but not in a traditional model. And so many people are willing to pay out of pocket for the help that they need to become healthier and have a more sustained well-being in all parts of their life. So there's certainly a way to do it, and we can chat about that. And definitely becoming trauma informed is going to be important because anytime we're working around health stuff, physical health, emotional health, mental health, anytime we're working around relationships or money, addiction, trauma, anytime we're working around just like tender points like infidelity and parenting, infertility, right? Mom and dad wounds, anytime we're working through like attachment traumas, any work around those kinds of things, and the list is exhaustive, but those are ones that come up. Any kind of like sexual healing or sexual abuse healing, any kind of like abuse that we've experienced as children that definitely impacts our health, physical, mental, emotional. Those kinds of things need a trauma informed framework because whenever people begin to work through those kinds of tender points in their history, in their present, trauma is bound to come up. And though we're not working with people in how to move through that acute trauma, the impact of it can linger for a really long time. And the impact of it is can be the thing that is preventing us from reaching the other goals that we want. That's why trauma informed work is so important because even though in coaching we're not working with people on the specific trauma itself, let's just say childhood abuse, right? We're not working with them on moving through that. That would be for a licensed mental health therapist, a licensed trauma therapist, right? But when someone wants to go deeper in their relationship, when they want to move through their money blocks, maybe they want to lose that 40 pounds they haven't been able to lose no matter what they try. The stud points, the points that are holding them back, the points that are impacting their nervous system often can be the imprint of the trauma. And that's what we're going to work through with specific tools in this program around how to help people move through the imprints of past things while remaining in one's window of tolerance and teaching you as a trauma informed coach what to look for, how to know when someone's in their window of tolerance, and this is just big work that they're doing, And when they're not able to remain in that window of tolerance, and they're going to need some therapeutic support in helping them be able to deal with this in a way where they can remain in their window of tolerance, and then they can do the deeper work in coaching. So it is nuanced. And I think that for most people who are in this industry and who have a gift, a talent, a degree, a background of work, that they're wanting to take ownership over, and they're wanting to share in the world under their own business, under their own brand. There's a way to do that that maintains integrity, that is ethical, right? And that also puts you in the driver's seat of how you're sharing your intellectual property. That's a big conversation. It's important, it's necessary. And I think it's time for women, especially, but I think all people, to really own their own intellectual property, to protect it, to really put it in programs where people can access it and pay for it and learn from it and use it to heal themselves, each other, the planet. I think that's really how we're going to move things forward in this country and in the world. Deanne says, yes, many clients come for health issues, and what eventually comes up through coaching is some type of trauma that's blocking physical health. It's so true. The mind body connection is something I've always been passionate about. And it's something that I have really learned from my clients, that we have to integrate, right? We have to integrate, integrate, integrate. There's a skill set to do that. There are tools to do that. And there's a framework that helps you move people through it in the way that you create your packages and your programs and working with people. There's really a way to help them move through it that keeps them in their window of tolerance. Because when we try and do this fast, quick, and in the hurry kind of stuff, people come out of their window of tolerance. And sometimes they don't even know that they're out of it. They don't even know what it is when they're shutting down, when they just begin to feel numb, when they go offline. And it shows up as self-sabotage. It shows up them not completing the program, them not completing their package, them not showing up for therapy, them not following back up, them not sticking with their meal plan or their wellness plan, right? It's not someone being lazy. It's not someone being just like out to lunch, lost in the sauce. No, their nervous system is out of their window of tolerance. Oftentimes, people are not sure how to get back within that window. And the best thing they know how to do is to just try and cope. This is what we were talking about a few days ago, when we were saying oftentimes the different parts that's in each of us have these childhood coping skills that kept them safe and got them through whatever situations they went through in childhood. The challenge becomes when we become adults and when we're trying to grow and expand in our life, those same coping skills don't work as well, right? And rightfully so. What we could get away with when we were 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, 18, 20, you can't pull that same stuff when you're 30, 40, 50, 60, right? And get the same result. People don't have as much compassion as and empathy, right, for you when you're having a tantrum at 40 versus when you're having a tantrum at 4. So we have to learn how to up level our skills, how to really go within and integrate this old stagnant energy that's just fear. It's just buried emotion. It's just underdeveloped parts of us who didn't quite learn how to move forward and how to grow in healthy ways for whatever reason, right? You can bring that to yourself and to your system now, even though you didn't get it earlier in your in life, right? And that's what people are really wanting. So when we think about coaching, we're thinking about high functioning, goal oriented, task oriented people that have specific trying to meet, and they're wanting to really move through anything that's holding them back from those goals. And that's where we can really help people to go deeper in aligned ways that are trauma informed, that can help them move through the stuck point without getting stuck in the old energy, without, blowing it off and just getting over it. I hate that term. Hi, Jonna. Thanks for hopping back on. I hate that term. Just get over it, just move on, right? It's so um I hate it because oftentimes if folks could get over something, they would. They've tried. Getting over it is not it. It's moving through it. The way out is through. It's learning how to integrate it, to befriend, to tend and befriend our emotion, to tend and befriend our sensation, to tend and befriend these stuck points that we're feeling. And oftentimes people want to do that work and they don't know how. And the methodologies that have taken me what feel like a lifetime to learn, I am so happy to share them with you, to teach them to you, to show you how to incorporate them in the body of work that you have, because I believe the world needs your work. I believe it with all of my heart. I would have given up on this work for myself if I didn't believe, hi Jennifer, if I didn't believe so wholeheartedly how much other people need these frameworks in order to do their great work in the world. One of the things I've struggled with for so long is feeling confident in um, just sharing what I know, right? Not that I didn't believe that what I knew wasn't enough. I had all of these stories around. I'm not great at tech. I can't, I'm not organized. Like, I need help. I can't afford it. All of these little fears, right? That were preventing me from sharing the work that I know people need. And this is where many of us are. We've reached this like crossroads where we have to decide, what are we going to commit to? The knowing that we know our work is needed and we're going to move through whatever resistance there is to share that work with the people who need it? Or are we going to stay in our littleness, in our fear, in our excuses, in our trepidation around not good at, versus understanding that we can get help and support with whatever areas that we're not good at, so that we show up and share what we're meant to show up and share. Deanne has shared that she's passionate about helping people with holistic nurse coaching and functional medicine. It's so needed. Jennifer shared the other day she has a passion for helping cancer survivors really thrive after their medical crisis. This work is so needed. I know Diana is passionate about helping women really heal from chronic illness and chronic pain conditions through natural methods. I know John is doing beautiful work around addiction and recovery in women. So many of you are doing amazing work. I know Luana has coaching that she does with people to really help them become the best versions of themselves. I know all of you who will catch this on the replay, you have a great work to share with the world, and it's so needed. And I don't care if you haven't done one thing towards sharing that work with the world yet, it doesn't matter. Now is as good a time as any to get into action and to begin to work through the blocks and stuck points that you have, using tools that you want to learn to embody so that you can share with the people who need them. And this program can help you do it. Applications are open, and we are excited to start this 6-month cohort in September. We're going to do a bonus day tomorrow to really go over the program, what it includes. The sales page will be live later today, thankfully. There have been so many tech issues, and you know what? I don't even care, because here's the thing: whenever there's resistance, you know you're on the right track. whenever, not that there has to be resistance, but when there is resistance, you know that you're on the right track and that you are committed to moving through whatever you need to move through in order to share what you know you're meant to share. And so I would love to hear from you currently. What has you fired up about your work? What are you loving? What are you frustrated with? Where are you? I'd love to support you, and just knowing where you are in your coaching, and how I can best be of support. And I would also love to know, Deanne, yes, amen. I would love to know what you're most excited about in moving forward with your coaching or creating your own programs. I know not everyone is a coach who will find their way to this work and this program, and that's certainly okay. Diana says, you've been amazingly and handled the tech difficulties. I would have had a major meltdown. You know what? It's so true around the meltdown part, and it can be frustrating, but this is what I know. Sometimes the work, right, that we're going to go over in this program, it's what I live, it's what I breathe, it's what I put my being into, that everything is always working out for me perfectly, that this too shall pass, that in the end, it isn't that big of a deal, and I can move through whatever comes my way, with grace. I really believe that. And the reality is, there are times where we practice and we're like, this is great. I went for my walk, did my journaling, did my yoga, went for a swim, like life is good. And then there are days where we have to put that work to work. We have to really use it. We have to embody it. And that's what I want to share more deeply with each of you, that when you allow the work to work you, you can create the life that you're meant to live. I'm excited for you to create coaching packages and have that direction. It's so true. I'm a visual person and I really needed examples. I really needed frameworks to be able to follow in order to feel confident to create my own. And sometimes we're all needing that. Sometimes we're all needing just a little bit of direction, like a little bit of how to. And once you have that, then you're able to really fill into what it's going to be for you to create your own. I think they comment just a little bit, so I'm going to hang out as they come through. I'd love to know where you currently are with your coaching and how you're wanting to move forward with it. So much of coaching in so many ways is just getting started. People more than ever are looking for support. Coaching is second only to tech, which is really a huge statement. Last I checked, I think in the past like month or so, it's like a it's 23 or 38 billion dollars currently, and it's looking to grow even more exponentially because people are so invested in their own life, right? And rightfully so. People are so invested in creating the life that they want and finding the tools and figuring out how to get there faster, right? It's so important. And one of the things that I love about coaching is the fact that you can get results faster because it's goal oriented, because there's so much freedom in what you create and how you create it. You can help people get to where they want to go faster. And that sometimes can save so much time and so much money. And the reality is, change doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. But in anyone who is kind of selling that, I would be cautious about that. But the reality is, with the right tools and frameworks, practices and disciplines, you can create the result that you want without it taking forever. Diana says, I never thought of myself as a creative. I can rework something to make it my own, but I haven't had good examples. You are a creative, Diana. Any therapist has to be a creative, um, because when we are helping people our own, um, figuring out all that they have to figure out, we are, in fact, being creative when we're helping them make different connections, when we're supporting them with different modalities, when we are helping them to see something in a different way because maybe they're not seeing it in a traditional way, right? I used to have clients who used to hate like CB, T. I was thinking of CBD, all the alphabet. Right? People used to hate CBT, and I would have to. I mean, I chose to put it in different kinds of frames so that they could see it in a way. It was still CBT, but in a different way, and they were able to wrap their mind around it, and they were able to allow the essence of the work to help them when it wasn't in the model that they thought they hated. That's creativity. Whenever you work with people who are frustrated and they're sick of everything, and you're having to give them examples and support them with shifts in their mindset to be willing to see it differently, that's creativity. And so I know you, Diana, and you are, we're back. It's being cranky again, but we're back. We're back. I was saying, I know you, Diana, and certainly you are creative, and most people are. Most of us don't give ourselves enough credit. Most of us don't give ourselves about what we're capable of, about what we've created so far. We're going to do a practice in the beginning of the program where you're going to write down 100 of your accomplishments in any area of life, in anything that you've done, anything to help you to see how much you've accomplished, how much you've created, how much you've overcome already to get you to this point in your life. And when you do that, you're going to share them with me, right? We're going to have some built in accountability in the program to help you to really see how much you've already created and overcome, and how much you actually do know that's going to help you get to where you want to be. Deanne says coaching is huge. Excited that there are champions of this work, that we're seeing the realignment towards a whole person wellness and healing, mind, body, and spirit. It's so needed. It's so needed. And I think it's how we heal the planet. I think that's how we get money in the hands of people who are going to redistribute it in good ways, in more fair ways that are not built in exploitation, that's not built in oppression, and that's not built solely in greed, right? Because when we think about getting the money into people, in the hands of people who are going to do good things with it, that's how we help the entire planet, right? To evolve in good ways. So I feel you on that, Deanna, 100%. Diana says, um, I read that. Jennifer says, I've changed direction with my coaching. I'm celebrating the work I've put forth for myself. I'm ready to get it out to people. Now, my brain keeps telling me I've got to do it right, and I see it's a lie. I'm working through this. It's so true, Jennifer. It is so true. And I see you. And that's a pattern that we all have, that we all have. And so many of you know this launch was scheduled for earlier in August. I had symptoms, COVID symptoms. The tests were negative, but I was still so sick. I kept feeling better and then getting worse again. My daughter was sick, like it was a mess. I kept needing to push it back to honor my energy and honor my adrenals, and things kept falling through. People who were supporting me, not the current people, but other people, were like saying they were going to help, and then not actually being able to produce the actual work. And when I went into meditation, when I went into, okay, what's the resistance? How can I move through this? Show me, make it clear. What kept coming up was simply, it doesn't need to be perfect to be effective. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? To get the work to the people who need it. And when you begin just to keep taking steps, what you need will come. The people you need to support you will come. The things will come. You just have to be a steward of the work. And I share that to say, Jennifer, we all have this voice that says we need to do it right. And to an extent, some of that can be in our birth chart, some of that can be in our Enneagram and our human design. Sometimes some of us like the feeling of mastery, and I certainly do. It's in my chart. I really just I prefer it. And we also can accept that we can have a little voice, a part of ourselves who might be stuck in perfectionism, which doesn't actually exist, which means we're chasing like a ghost, trying to make something perfect that one doesn't need to be. And two, if there's no such thing as perfection, we're chasing an illusion. So we have to decide to be a steward of the work. And we're going to really talk about that in the program around your identity, who you're embodying, right? The part of you who knows the way, if you can allow yourself to trust her. She knows where to lead you, your higher self, where to guide you. She knows what's holding you back. She can support you in moving through it without the excuses, without the waiting, right? There's nothing wrong with reflection and planning, and those kinds of things. It's necessary. But some of us who have a history with perfectionism, I certainly do, can get stuck in the planning and the reflection, and we're not doing. And we talked about this a bit yesterday, and I'm going to post a couple of the slides from yesterday that couldn't be shared because of said tech issues, right? But there's a diagram that I spoke about yesterday talking about that differences between masculine and feminine energy. There's a real doing energy around the masculine, and it's necessary. And there's a real being energy around the feminine, and it's necessary. And the real secret sauce is integrating the two. There is a time to do, and there's a time to be. There's a time to plan and strategize, and there's a time to launch, because at the end of the day, people need the work, and people who want to learn how to do this work, to do it well, ethically, in integrity, with psychological safety, in a way that is win-win for the people, and in a way of that's profitable for them, right? None of us can afford, most of us can't afford expensive hobbies. Most of us need a business that's based in work that we love and that can provide for us financially, right? There's a way to do that. And when we feel confident enough in our work to share it and to share our paid work, it begins to do the work for us. And so I hear you around that. We all have that voice. And I don't think enough people speak to that, that we all have it. We all feel insecure. We all feel like the kid in the class who's trying to get the good grade. And we don't always realize that we are no longer the kid in the class waiting for someone to give us a good grade. We can take um, our own knowing and trust and wisdom from source and say, I know this is the work that's on my heart to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to share it. I'm going to show up for it. And I'm going to allow the universe to take care of the rest. It's so important. There's a scripture that talks about um, that God will bless everywhere that our feet touch, right? So all the things that we do, all of the change that we affect, that God will bless it and expand it and link it to the people and the places and the things that it needs to be linked to. But we have to take those initial steps. We have to birth it. And we don't have to create the how. We just have to be consistent and diligent and showing up and sharing the work. And so we're going to work through those blocks. We're going to work through tools to help you integrate that energy, because it's not, there's a book called No Bad Parts, and we're going to talk about it in the program. There are not bad parts, and there's not parts of you that are trying to derail you, not on purpose. There are many misunderstandings, and sometimes we need coaching and trauma informed coaching to go back and unravel those misunderstandings so that energy can be released, so that we have more capacity to do the work that we're meant to do. Sometimes the distraction is simply this old energy that needs to be released. It's not, it's being stored in our body, causing dis-ease, causing doubt and fear and insecurity and procrastination, right? All of these symptoms that we don't want, simply because it's knocking at the door of our heart to be released back into the earth, back into nature, to be transmuted, right? And turned back into love. Everything is energy, and energy cannot be destroyed until it has to be shifted, it has to be transmuted. And we have to become the stewards over really understanding that some feelings, some thoughts, some energies need to be shifted. They're not supposed to be housed in our bodies, in our minds, in our thoughts. And so Deanne says, I'm feeling much lighter after hearing this. Yay, I'm so excited. Diana says, I'm excited to learn more about masculine and feminine energy. It is so important. It's so important as business owners, as CEOs, as people who want to be embodied, that we really understand the energetics behind masculine and feminine and how we can integrate that in our own life, in our own business. So much of sometimes where we're stuck is because we're not integrated. The same thing with trauma. We're going to work through tools that are going to help you to integrate that energy for yourself and then use that with clients, because some people um, are stuck not around the thing that happened, it's around their perspective around the thing that happened. And when we can shift our perspective around whatever it is, we can then move through it, come out on the other side, and begin to take aligned action towards what we want, not just action towards how we don't want to feel, but how we do actually want to feel, and what we want to create. Diana says, I'm excited, right? Deanne says, me too. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I want you to fill out your application so that we can see if you are a good fit for this cohort. I know many of you are. I'm so excited to welcome you in. We're going to go over the different modules of the program tomorrow on tomorrow's live. There is special pricing for those who sign up during the masterclass week, right? And so we're going to extend it a few days to give you time with the sales page. But what I know for sure is this: oftentimes we can talk ourselves out of the very thing that we need for all sorts of reasons, right? I don't deserve it. Now isn't the time. I can't really afford this. What if I don't do it? What if I don't show up for myself? All of those are fears, right? And there's a real truth around sometimes things are not aligned, and that's just the truth. And we can honor our yes and we can honor our no. But for those of you that it is the right time, this is what I hate for myself and what I hate for people that I love so much in my life. And that includes all of you. When we talk ourselves out of the thing that we know we need, a year passes, we're not any further along. And it's like, I wish I had had the courage to leap. I wish I had had the courage to just do the thing I know I needed to do a year ago. And I wonder where I would have been if I had done the thing I knew I should have done a year ago. I don't want that for you. So apply. There's no obligation to apply. And we want to see if you're the best fit for this cohort. It's going to be a special cohort. I can feel it. You are so you're in for such a surprise with what it's going to be expanded to next year, that you get that program as a bonus. The content, the expansion of the program. This program is going to be exquisite. There is so much that cuts out of the guesswork for you. Templates and protocols and methods that you can make your own, that you can support clients with, that you can create programs around. And one of the significant ways this program supports you is moving through your own blocks and stuck points growing around growing and starting your business, starting and expanding your business, right? Really being able to feel confident in the work that you're doing. Emotional mastery is the name of the game. Psychological safety is the name of the game. And owning your gifts and genius is the name of the game. For women, we do not have to struggle financially. We do not have to struggle with believing in ourselves and our great work. We just have to decide to do the work, to get the support, to move through anything that says that we can't, to move through anything that says, who am I to do this? Who am I to have this? Who am I to show up in this way? You are the one you've been waiting on. You're the one we've all been waiting on to show up, to do this work, to lead by example, to really help people move through what holds them back and to do it in powerful ways. There are coaching containers that I have been in that have changed my life in countless ways. And there was no amount of money that could have been paid for the transformation that I received. And I want that for you. This program, that's what this program stands for. I have pushed through so much resistance to birth it and to navigate it and to get it ready for you so that it's digestible, so that it's user friendly, so that it is easily implementable in whatever work that you're doing. This program is best suited for people who are professionals or who want to go deeper on the frameworks for their own personal development. Either way, you're covered. And for some people, you're going to take this program a few times and really go deep, really begin to understand it and apply it. Some of you are further along in your work, in your development, and you're going to take it and soar with it. Wherever you are is perfect. This program is expansive enough to hold you. If you're new and you're getting started and you need time, it's for you. If you're well on your way and you really want to integrate the principles, the frameworks, the methodologies, and then apply it, make them your own, create your own things, it's for you, right? And that's so much of what I wanted, something that can help people at different stages of the game feel more confident, feel more prepared, feel ready to let go of what's been holding them back from stepping into their greatness and sharing their great work with the world. Deanne says, I'm so over skirting around the invisible barrier I created into stepping in all in for the very thing I've been seeking. It's so true. And here's the thing that I would never have believed if I hadn't tried it for myself, Deanne. I joined a program myself at the beginning of the year that I could not afford, that I did not have time for, that I had to rearrange my whole schedule, my whole life, my everything to create space for this program. But it's the program I knew I needed to go all in. And when you go all in, the universe backs you. Like things happen to support it, but we have to go first. We have to lead ourselves first, and we have to decide that this is going to work. And if it doesn't, it's not because I didn't go all in. It sucks when things don't work out and we've gone all in, but whenever you go all in, it works or it leads you to the thing that works. When we don't go all in, we're always thinking, okay, it didn't work, but what if I'd gone all in? Would that have made the difference? Regret is terrible, and I don't want that for you, for any of you. And the reality is, it's more likely to work when you go all in. One of the things that I have learned, certainly this year, specifically with this program, has been building it, growing it, really becoming the person to lead you through it, right? I know so much. I read books for sport. I love what I do. I love helping people really embrace healing. I want to help people that learn differently, that feel differently. I have lots of tools to help people from all walks of life do that. And what I realized really a couple years ago was that I can only help so many people one to one, that I want to teach people how to do this work so they can help the people that they are called to. I have worked with Iyanla a lot over the years, and one of the things that she says is there are people that everyone is called to. And so each person has their tribe. And when we support people and getting the confidence to really stand up into their work, into the person they are here to be, to share the work they are meant to share. That is how we heal the world. There are people who are never going to hear it from me, they're only going to hear it from you. And that's only if you're standing up and sharing, right, the work so they can see you and they can come into your world and take up your work, right? Do work. And so it's so important that we have the courage to do that work and to go all in. The answers I've heard somewhere that 90% is hard, 100% is easy. It's so true. It's so true. And what helps me to know that that's true is always the ocean. The waves are always more, um, they're always more frustrating when we're in the shallow end. They always beat you up more when you're like up to your knees, right? It's like it's just they're stronger, they're more annoying. As soon as you go out further, as soon as you go out deeper, they become like a wave pool, and that has stayed with me forever. It's like just being in the water. It does count, it does help you get ready for your next step. But when you're on the shore, when you're in the shallow end, it's harder. You're getting met with more resistance. It's easier when you just go in and keep walking out to the deep end, and you're like, this is actually easier. It's so counterintuitive. It's easier when you go all in. So I'm challenging you all to go all in, complete the application. We'll drop it in. I'm reviewing each one of the applications personally, giving you feedback, letting you know either way if you're in, or if perhaps, next year would be better. Maybe work on these couple of things, and then I think you will be ready to get the most out of the program for the investment. I will be honest with you are ready. I can feel this program is for you. This is such a special cohort. I can feel it. We will be sharing more details tomorrow. The welcome call. We're going to go over the modules. We're going to go over some of the scheduling. I'm so ready for you to be in. I'm so ready to share the syllabus with you. I'm so ready to share how you're going to expand and grow. And what I really want to leave you with, whether this is the cohort for you or perhaps next year's cohort is for you, what I want you to know is that there is a work that you're here to do. And whether this is the program for you or not, I want you to commit to doing that great work. It is so necessary for you to do that great work. And it's so necessary for the people in your world to see you, because when you show up in your light and in your truth, you inspire others to do that. And here's the thing, sometimes that can feel intimidating, sometimes that can feel overwhelming, but here's the truth, it wouldn't still be on your heart. You would have been able to shut it down already if it weren't meant for you to do it. You're meant to do the work that's on your heart to do. The end, right? When we go 100% in, it gets easier. When we stay on the fence, that's when it's harder. That's when it becomes draining. That's when it becomes like, I can't do it. What if I mess up? All of those like little voices and that scared, those scared antics begin to get softer, and you can mute them more easily when you just commit to doing it, right? When you just commit to doing it, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, no matter what hell's breaking loose, no matter what's in your bank account, no matter how you feel in your body, when you commit to just doing the thing, you stop negotiating with yourself. This is part of the work of trauma informed coaching. It's deciding who you're going to be and then becoming that person no matter what. It's deciding that you're committing to bring the work forth that you are meant to bring, that only you can bring, that is so needed. And by doing it, you also set yourself free, and the people that you are connected to, you also set them free. It's such sacred work. I honor it. I honor you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience with the tech issues and the Wi Fi, all the things. I'm excited to share the sales page with you later today, and we'll go over it together tomorrow. Let me see what time tomorrow's master classes. We're going to do 3 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. I will post about it for you so you have a little reminder. We're going to go over the sales page. We're going to go over any questions that you have. Get your applications in. I'm so excited to read through them and to give you feedback. You are going to be blown away by this program. You're going to be blown away by how much you accomplish by going all in. You're ready. You couldn't be more ready. The time is now. I've got you. Um, it's all good. And I'm so proud of you for getting yourself to this point, for not giving up, for deciding to go all in, for prioritizing these master classes, for deciding that you're no longer going to let the little voice of perfectionism, of what if it's not enough, what if I'm not enough, what if I don't do it right, be be the lead in the driver's seat. We have to become the leaders in our own driver's seat to our own life to get us to where we want to go, right? Little kids can't drive us around. They mean well, but they don't have the capacity to lead. You do. So it's time to step into that queen self version of you who leads herself to what she wants, who goes after what she wants and gives herself permission to get it, to enjoy it, to celebrate it, and to share it with the world, because the world needs what you have to offer. I love you so much. I'll drop the application link in this thread, and I'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern as we go over the program, the modules, what you're getting, when we're starting, all the things. I love you. See you soon. Bye for now.